There's a new tool that attackers can use to phish your website with just a mouse click.
So John, you have a story about the new Modlishka tool that just came out.
I do. So there's, maybe I should set up the story first. So, when we talk about phishing websites, we see phishing websites a lot historically. And more often than not, what it is, a bad actor registers a domain that maybe looks similar to the victim that they're trying to phish for.
It's cloned as closely as it can be.
Yeah, it's very close to it usually. And then at that website that they've set up under that domain, they'll set up something that looks like a templatized version of that website to try to trick with a login page, to try to trick the user to log in. So Modlishka is a tool that a Polish security researcher put out recently. And what it really is it's a reverse proxy. So what you can do instead, you still register, bad actor registers a domain, but instead of having to make a fake templated version of the website, they just run Modlishka pointing it at the real website. It's really kind of like a point and click phishing tool, which makes it a lot more accessible to unskilled cyber actors out there that might want to phish your website and whatnot. An interesting tool set, caused a lot of controversy, and it's available on GitHub for security researchers to take a look at. However, one of the caveats is I would caution greatly against using this is because the code that's up there, it has kind of I don't know if it's a backdoor or what you want to call it, but anybody who uses this tool, any harvested credentials get pushed up to a portal that the developer of this tool wrote. It's hard-coded into the software, and he gets a copy of all of the credentials that have been harvested by everybody who uses this tool. So you'd want to be very careful about using something like this, but it's an interesting kind of tool to be aware of, that it could be used against you.
The other problem, the other significant thing about this tool is that it can bypass two-factor authentication. So essentially, the user would hit this website, hit the attacker's website there. They would use Google, just as the article uses Google as an example, request a login, and put their user and password. The next step, of course, is to send a token via text. Mm-hmm. User would enter in that token into the bad site. It would then forward it to the real Google site, and then you're logged in. But at that point, the attacker has all three of that and all the information that's required to actually get in as you.
Right. They could jump in on your connection, basically.
And they can
want to.
Yeah, they can act as you.
Right.
Essentially.
So yeah, definitely something to be wary about. I thought it was interesting. They asked the author, why would you write this? And his response was, if people don't provide a working proof of concept, then people don't take it seriously, that it's an actual threat. So it's interesting how things get escalated in terms of getting fixed at a higher priority when it's actually being used as a active exploit in the wild, as opposed to just a theoretical one or one that only a small subset of people know about in a trusted community. So
one of the scarier aspects of this tool, from a security guy, is it lowers the bar, the technical knowledge requirement, so to speak, to enact a phishing campaign. It lowers that technical bar because really you just have to get the tool and then you basically point it at whatever site you want it to look like.
Right. And so it's like point and click phishing.
Point and click phishing, essentially, is what it is. So that's concerning.
Right.
So the defenses against this are the user needs to pay attention to the URLs. I understand that this doesn't work against U2F tokens, because the actual protocol for that type of two-factor authentication has some man-in-the-middle protections built into it. But But yeah, this is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's going to take a trained eye, a keen eye, and persistence to make sure that the website you're entering in, even your second factor that you got texted to your phone, is the legitimate site.
Right. We've always told you to be careful when you click on URLs to make sure that you're really visiting the place that you think you're visiting, especially if it's something that you received in an email or something of that nature and you're clicking on a link. Look at the domain to make sure that it's really the domain that you think it is.